What is going on, people? Back again here on Cockney Red 99, live for the first time at the Crafty Couple, a new show I'm going to be doing with a couple of guests each week, looking through the first round of the Premier League fixtures. Firstly, it is massive today because football is back. It was back last night, Arsenal City. We all watched it, seen David Luiz's blunder. But firstly, I'd just like to welcome my two guests I'm on today. We've got Sam, who's a West Ham fan. Thanks for being here, Sam. And we've got my usual suspect, Adam, who I'm normally on the podcast with every Sunday. How are you getting on, Adam?
Yeah, mate. Looking forward to talking to some real football, mate. Something relevant.
Yeah, and just as it is called the Crafty Couple, we are having a couple of beers during the week. So it's just a beer check on everything. I've got a Sol.
Close.
Adam's got himself a Stella Artois.
For me.
And a Strongbow for Sam. Firstly, we're going to take a look back on yesterday's fixtures, which were Sheffield United, Villa, and Arsenal City. Firstly, go to you, Adam. Did you get a chance to watch the two games, or?
Oh, mate, yeah. It was just headline hogged by VAR again, wasn't it? As much as a good result it was for us in terms of Sheffield United dropping points already, but you can't help but feel they were hard done to, mate, by that. I don't say I've listened to the radio all day. I've listened to the excuses coming out, Hawkeye's excuses. I've not even heard anything from the Premier League about the ball that did go over the line. The man went over the line with the ball. I just don't understand how it's not working. First game back, it had to happen on the first game back, didn't it? It was horrendous. But looking at the game itself, I mean, Henderson looked good for us again, didn't he, in goal? So plenty of positives to come out of the first round of games, to be honest. But for me, it's just overshadowed again by VAR. We knew it was going to come. We just 40 odd minutes into the first game back, mate, and we're on VAR again. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it done us a few favours towards the end of the season. Sam, did you catch the first two games? Sam, can you hear me, mate? Oh, I think we might have lost Sam there. Anyway, as did you get
great freeze face there, isn't it?
He's doing a great. It's a model like pose. As can you? I'm guessing you obviously got a chance to watch the Arsenal City game. I think we all did. Yeah, I think his Wi-Fi is just buffering a bit there.
Yeah, he'll be back in a sec.
But yeah, the Arsenal City game. I mean, David Luiz has had an absolute nightmare of a game there. He's come on. He's off. You know, he's only been on for 40 minutes. Really, gave away 2 goals and got a red card. I think that's just a nightmare game for any defender.
Sideshow Bob, mate. Sideshow Bob does it again, doesn't he? Our kid said to us, he was watching the game with his son, and his son said to him, he said, "Oh, it's pretty dire this game, Dad, isn't it?" He went, "It's all right. David Luiz is coming on now. Something's bound to happen." Oh, my God. Yeah, he couldn't have nailed it even more. I've heard Arsenal fans moaning on the radio today saying that it wasn't a red card. It was a red card. He didn't attempt to play the ball. 2 shots on goal from Arsenal. Not one of them was on target, so let's not get past that. Aubameyang, non-existent. You know what? Ozil, not anywhere near the matchday squad. A team that I hardly knew. Injuries galore for Arsenal. I mean, couldn't have been a better start for AFTV, mate, could it? I mean, we've all seen the pictures of him sat there today watching it. What did they expect, though? I said it'd be a 3 or 4-0, even if we didn't have the David Luiz show, the side show. Yeah. But it was bound to be a City win. They can't be expecting too much from that game. The issue that Arsenal have got now is the disarray that the squad's in. I mean, why is Lacazette and Pepe not starting that game?
Especially the
talking about going for 4th spot. Are they joking? Are you seriously joking? There's more chance of them finishing 10th, 11th than there is finishing 4th. They're absolutely well gone. We win against Spurs. Arsenal have finished in top 4. Yeah. And to be honest, I don't see them getting past Sheffield United or Wolves either. So it was nice to get back to normal in terms of watching Arsenal again. But Arsenal against City, it's always the same result, innit, mate? They've just got the complete and utter voodoo on them. Yeah. Arteta looks like he's got something about him, but he ain't got the tools to manage in the Premier League and definitely not sustain top 6 even, never mind top 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big job as your first job. I mean, obviously the point is made about Ollie as well, with it being obviously it's not his first ever job, but it's the first major job. But for it is Arteta's first ever job to go that deep in. I think it's a bit of an ask. I think his whole credentials is basically that he's worked with Pep Guardiola, and I think that can only get you so far, really and truly.
It is, mate. Number twos and number twos for a reason. I mean, he's probably got a future in it. He does talk a really good game and he doesn't get flustered, which is good. He's going to need that. He's going to need that in working in Arsenal, especially with that squad, mate. That squad is going to destroy him, and they're not going to invest. They're running debts up by the millions, the multi-millions, mate. There's not a chance in hell they're going to spend money. Their owner has just spent what we talked about the other day, 500 million on a new stadium over there in the NFL. Mm-hmm. There ain't no money there for Arsenal. And you know what? With no gate receipts coming in, the sponsorships are only going to hold up so far, and the amount that they're still paying off for other players, and then likes of Aubameyang wanting to leave, then who are they going to replace him with? There's no one out there to replace him with, so they're going to end up paying him all the multi-millions, but they ain't getting anywhere near Champions League, mate. It's a shame. It's a big ask for Arteta, but he ain't going to do it. No matter how good his coaching credentials are, he ain't going to do it with that squad. You ain't got the tools, mate. It's not going to get there. There's too many better teams, better than them in terms of squad depth and in terms of the way their finances and the club is actually run. I can't see it getting any better for Arsenal.
No, I can't see it. I don't think, Arteta had a bit of a good... Well, everyone said he had a good run. They did beat us and they were unlucky against Chelsea, but they had a lot. They drew. I think they drew about 7 or 8 games in a row, and they were just they just couldn't seem to win a game. And I don't know. I just don't think that Arsenal have been sort of that team since I've been growing up, because I've sort of missed when I grew up. I was towards the tail end of when I first started watching football was the United Arsenal rivalry, and Arsenal were just always a good team to watch. Nice football, pretty football, but they never had the killer edge. They went 8 years without winning a title under Wenger, and it just wasn't good enough, really.
Mate, they died. They died when they moved to the Emirates, mate.
Yeah,
it finished when they moved. When they moved to the Emirates, it finished, and then I think we spoke about it, didn't we? About the way they act, the way they deal with the contracts, and the way the clubs run. Both every time a club captain and their major player is coming to an end of the deal, but they just end up losing out. They're just so poor in transfer dealings, in the way the clubs manage behind the scenes. It's just not good enough. If you want to be, like I said, to sustain top 6, never mind top 4, you need to be twice as good as what they're doing in terms of recruitment, in terms of contracts, players, looking past them players finishing, because who would you take out of that Arsenal team? I said this the other week, mate. There's no one. I don't think Wolves would take one of the Arsenal players. Sheffield United would be a push. Take them for a bit of squad depth. That's about it. But in terms of a first team out on the pitch, I'd take Sheffield United or Wolves over Arsenal any day of the week.
I think looking at that, you see, they're both above them. Sheffield United are 6th. Thankfully, they only got a point yesterday, and you've got Wolves that are close behind. So and they both play good, attractive football. And Arsenal have come back to that more under Arteta, but still not great enough. And so now looking ahead, enough about Arsenal. We've done them to death. We'll look ahead at Friday. We're on at 8:15 against Spurs, but first there is a game of Norwich-Southampton towards the foot of the table. Massive one for Norwich. I think they're 6 points off safety now. They're all but down. What do you see this one entailing, Adam? Do you see any bit of excitement? Will you even watch it? Or
yeah, I think it's it's going to be a good game, because Norwich are going to go down fighting. They do play a sort of elaborate style of football. It's probably why they've been dicked so many times this season, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're very, very open.
Sam's back here. There we go.
Yeah, Sam's back.
Connection's finally working.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, go on. So Southampton, we've already heard Hassan Hootle's cracking the whip already. He's got his new deal. Højbjerg has been stripped of the captaincy because he's not committed to the club. So Hassan Hootle he's done a good job. Let's be honest. There was a stage there where it looked like it was all doom and gloom for him, didn't it? But he's pulled it around. I just feel like they've got a bit of firepower. Southampton, they are heading in the right direction, but Southampton are probably going to be, or Norwich should say, are probably perfect opponents for Southampton, because I think Norwich will go at them. But I do feel like Southampton have got the tools in Ward-Prowse. Are definitely running the show there, picking out Norwich on the counter-attack. I see this one actually having goals. I actually see it being a close game, but with goals. So I'll probably say I like scorelines of like 3-1 to Southampton for this game. That's how I see it going. I just feel like they're a better outfit than Norwich, and Norwich are going to make it a good game. No, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Sam, what do you reckon? Norwich, Southampton, first game on Friday at 6?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. I don't think there's going to be a big difference. There's not going to be like that home advantage anymore without the fans. I don't think it's going to be that big of an effect. So I'd say Southampton, will probably nick it. But saying that, Norwich aren't a bad footballing team, even though they are bottom of the table. It's not like they try to play the wrong way. They do try to play good football. That first game of the season away at Liverpool, they actually give them a little bit of a. It wasn't what the scoreline was. It was like 4-1, wasn't it? It finished 4-2.
Yeah, it finished 4-1. Pookie got a goal there as well.
Yeah, and it was never that kind of game. Like they can play on their day, but obviously they're not playing well enough for that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be at the bottom.
Yeah, that is true. And then moving on to what is probably the biggest fixture of the weekend, definitely for myself and Adam anyway. United Spurs, United back. It's been over 100 days. I feel like an addict that has not had his fix for a very long time. I'm absolutely buzzing to be able to watch United again. Can't think of a massive game to come back to as well. Friday night, 8:15, a bit of a late kickoff, but I don't care. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be delighted to watch. Adam, as it's the United game, I will come to you first. Obviously, you're buzzing like myself. What are your thoughts on the game and how it can pan out?
Right, mate, my preview of this game's just gone up on my channel around about 6:30, mate, and it's titled "No Excuse." I expect United to finish Spurs. I really do, mate. There's no excuse now. Sam touched on it then. I've been going on about it for weeks now. The fact that there's no crowds at any of these games, and then that just, for me, brings it all down to what happens on the pitch. If the best players in the teams at the top of that table do their jobs, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. United's team set up against Spurs is nothing. It's absolutely nothing compared for me. I wouldn't swap any of the players in any of the positions if you went like for like. They've got an aging defence, Spurs. I don't know how quickly they'll be able to adapt. I just see United's youthfulness and the creativity that we've got in midfield now and the options we've got on the bench, which will play a massive part in this, because we have got 9 men on the bench. It's a good team that's going to be sat on that bench, mate. We've got options. You can see the likes of McTominay, Freddie, Gallo, James, Mata, all these players sat on the bench. You may even have a Pogba on the bench yet, mate. You know what I mean? You've got game changers all the way. It's going to be crap. I don't expect it to be good football. I expect it to be lethargic. Fitness will play a key. But United have got ballers. I just think we've got more people on the day who can just do something special over any of the teams we've got, especially Spurs. And there's a few players in that United team who want to get one over on Jose, mate. I don't even have to mention the names. There's loads queuing up. There's never been more incentive to go out and just attack a team, because we know what Mourinho's going to do. He's going to give us the ball. He's going to sit back, trying to hit Harry Kane and Son combo, long ball tactic on the break. I think Harry Maguire will probably handle Kane. Not sure about Son. I think Son's probably got his number. He's too quick for him. So all depends really, mate, how Ollie approaches it. I feel like he's going to go slightly safer than what I would hope. I'd have Pogba and Bruno in the team, mate. I'd only have one holding midfielder. And I'd hope that we'd have plan A, B, and C in the bag after this last 5 weeks worth of training. We've usually only got plan A and then half a B, which is freestyle football. But for me, I'd expect us, with the amount of training they've had nothing to do but train for 5 weeks and work on tactics with a fully fit squad. Same for every other club in the league. They've never had so many players available. So substitutes are going to play a big part in this one, mate. And I think that's where we'll finish Spurs off. So I'm going 3-0 United, mate.
3-0 United. I mean, that's a big bold move, Adam. I'm the reason
Spurs are crap, mate. The crap. Spurs comes up with an excuse and says Spurs are a tough game.
It's not Spurs I'm worried about.
You're thinking on the level of 7th or 8th in the table again. It's time to start thinking like we're going to go out and win this game. Forget about how they're going to play. It's how we're going to play. We've got the better team. If we act the way we've acted over the last 5 or 6 years, then yeah, it will be a tough game. But there's no excuse now. There's no pressure on anyone. There's no pressure. There's no pressure from the fans. There's nothing like that now. And it's going to play a massive part. If they don't turn up, then we know it's the players not playing to their ability. And then questions are going to be asked after the game. But the way it's going and the noises coming out of the club, it all looks good. Everyone looks on the right page. I'm expecting big things these next 9 games. And none of the teams we're playing against give me any fear. And Spurs definitely don't.
Brutal words. I'm not that more. I think we are capable of getting the result.
I knew you won't be as confident, mate.
No, it's just because of Jose. Jose's the only stumbling block in there for me. He's the one that makes me think.
Even in without a crowd, mate. You know what I mean? The Arcas, he ain't got anyone to play to.
The occasion. He wants these occasions. That's when he's at his best.
Yeah, it's just what. I think we'll win it, but I don't think it will be as comfortable as you're predicting. I think we're going to win 2-1.
I'll take 2-1 still, mate.
Sam, take 2-1. Sam, what are your thoughts as the neutral among us?
Yeah, I wouldn't say 3-0. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, Tottenham, they've got good players. They can play, as you've seen under Pochettino. But then, obviously, as the last season, it has been a shambles since that Champions League run. But even in the league that season, they weren't great. Under Mourinho, they haven't had that same touch or anything. But that's, as I say, Mourinho loves this kind of occasion. He likes upsetting people. So when he's got Man United, he's going to be up for it. He's going to want to win it. And if he can motivate that team, they are more than capable of winning a game of football. You know, and United are a bit inconsistent. And then you were saying about Pogba coming back, and it'll be. I think it's the first time him and Bruno have been together, isn't it?
They do play. Yeah,
Pogba has been in since.
That might take time for them to gel, so they might not hit the ground running and run away with it. You know, it might take time.
So what are you thinking score wise then?
I'd still back United. I think it'd be tight, probably 1-0, 2-1.
Yeah, I'll do.
I think it'll be tight.
I think we'll all take it at this stage of the season. We just want to get it over and done with, get into the top 4. I think we're going to win that game. I think we will, hopefully, and start this, post, this COVID league, whatever we want to call it, with a good victory anyway. And moving on to Saturday, we've got it's a festival of football the way it is, and there's a full Saturday block of fixtures. So we're starting off with a 12:30, and that is Watford-Leicester. I think that's quite an exciting game, and it's one to pay attention to, because you've got Leicester who have been really, I'd say, probably one of the major shocks of the season. They're third. They're comfortably third, and it looks like they could probably finish. They're probably going to finish in the top 4. Vardy's been on fire. He's the top scorer in the league this season. Watford have looked kind of like a completely new and rejuvenated side under Nigel Pearson. Ismail Assar has kind of come out of his shell a bit. Seems like he's settled in now at Watford. It's got all the makings of a decent game. Sam, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about it?
Yeah, massive. For the top 4 for Leicester, and then obviously Watford want to stay up, because they're both going to be up for it, because there's been questions about a lot of the teams, whether they're going to be that committed after this whole quarantine and everything. But these 2 teams have a lot to play for. Mm-hmm. I mean, with Watford, Nigel Pearson, because I think it will help them, because what could have brought them down is a new manager, a new system and all that. But then all this time has allowed them to really work on his strategy and everything. So they should really, in reality, be well set up. But then I don't know, does it matter really about form before quarantine? Because I think Leicester started to tail off a little bit. Apart from that win against Villa right at the very end, they kind of had a bit of a different form. Yeah. I think Leicester are surely going to win it. Surely the better team, but it just depends really how much Watford are up for it. Because one thing is, Deeney, the captain, and everything, he was saying he wasn't a fan of coming back for the football, was he?
No, he wasn't. So, I'm not sure if he is coming back or not. There was no sort of confirmation.
He is back. Yeah,
he is coming back. Because Mariappa got it as well.
Yeah, he got back. He got the confirmations he needed from the club about the extra protection.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
But it's it's whether he's really in it. That's the thing.
Mm.
So that could be because he's the one that gets them all going. He's Watford through and through, really, isn't he? So I don't know. I'd say Leicester are gonna win it. They'll do it again. Not that home advantage, and I think they are just such a good side that I think they should definitely. Yeah, they should beat him.
What are you going to go score wise then? Just a tight enough game or?
I'm going to go 3-1 Leicester.
3-1 Leicester, fair play. What do you think, Az? What's your prediction for the game? How do you see it panning out?
Yeah, interesting. Sam touched on it then. Leicester's form. I mean, the COVID-19 came at the right time for them because out of the top 10 teams in the league at the moment, the previous 5 games form table, Leicester were bottom. They were 10th in the form table. I think they picked up 5 points in 12, and one of them was that win against Villa. So that shows how crap they were. And you know what? It's come at the right time. Take the break, refresh, re-strategize. You know what? And Brendan Rodgers will have a few ideas up his sleeve. So I expect Leicester to come back bouncing, firing at first. I think they will fade away still, me. I do feel like I think they've got to play Chelsea as well yet.
Yeah,
So
they've got
to play Chelsea.
Got a tough
they've
round
got
of
to play
fixtures.
us.
Yeah.
They have got some big games. I mean, with everyone starting afresh as well in terms of fitness, you just don't know, do you? It's who hits the ground running, who can scrape that first win and get a bit of momentum, because before you know it, you start getting into a run of good fitness and it's season over, isn't it? It's like a mini tournament. Yeah. But Leicester, I do agree, are the better team. If all their players come to the table, Leicester will win the game. I don't think Watford will take it like that. Watford will know they're 1 or 2 wins away from really sort of solidifying themselves. If they can get a draw out of this, they'll probably look at that and go, you know what, we can kick on from here now. I do feel like Watford will survive. Like you said there, you're naming a few of the players there. They have got some good, strong players, Watford.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they've got a bit of fight in them compared to some of the other teams down there. Deeney will come back. It'd be interesting to see how he plays. Like Sam said, then after everything that's happened over the last few weeks, it'd be interesting to see how he is on the pitch as well. I mean, he's their leader. He's their linchpin. If he's not on his game, then Watford will struggle. I do feel like, you know what, I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I just feel like it's going to be one of them games. I don't know what it is. I mean, if Leicester do turn up, then I do expect them to give Watford. Yeah, I do. We really do. Yeah. Leicester have got some serious players, but first game back, I feel it just being. Oh, you know what? I don't know. It's hard to call because Watford, I feel after that win against Liverpool, you know what? You can say form goes out the window, but it come at the wrong time for them. You could say the COVID-19. Yeah. Be interesting to see. I just feel like Watford, if Deeney plays, they probably scrape a draw. If Deeney's not in it, I'll go with Sam there, 3-1-ish around that mark for Leicester. All depends if Troy Deeney plays.
Fair play.
He makes that much of a difference to that team. It's frightening.
Yeah, he does. He massively does. And I personally think it'll be quite a cagey affair between the two teams. I think it's sort of the less established, like less experienced teams, throughout their squad, they're not that experienced in terms of Leicester. Well, Leicester have some experienced players, but on the whole, not a very experienced squad. So I think they'll find it difficult to get back into the rhythm of it. So I think it'll be a cagey affair. I think it'll be a 1-1, personally. Moving on then to the next game, we've got Brighton, Arsenal. We all saw Arsenal's abysmal performance last night. Sideshow Bob absolutely showing himself up yet again. We've got our own Afro man on the show, but we'll leave out the Afro. This is now, but absolutely abysmal performance. He was on for 40 minutes, gave away a penalty, caused the goal, and got sent off. Dreadful performance. He is going to be suspended, but heads are going to be down in that Arsenal camp, and it doesn't take much to do it. It seems with Arsenal in general. And Brighton seem to have been in a bit spotted bother throughout the COVID crisis. I think 3 players tested positive. They've been up and down with form. They've been playing quite well under Graham Potter, but hopefully, there was massive issues with the neutral ground thing. But they have been playing quite well. That Jacques Chabash have been playing well. Neil Maupay, there's some good players. Ads, I'll come to you first. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I mean, I Brighton, one of them teams, you like to play ball, don't they? Under new management and the new system they've got, they're all right. I mean, maybe this sort of summertime football, fitness not being great and keeping the ball may play into their hands a little bit. I think defensively they're solid enough, and that could really frustrate Arsenal. And then Brighton could easily nick it. They really could. The way Arsenal are at the moment, we don't know who's going to be fit, who's going to be willing to play. But then again, you could say that because Brighton were one of the teams making noises about not kicking the season off again and not finishing the season. No wonder, because with their running and them being where they are in this dogfight, you can't really blame them, really. And I just see this one, it's got draw it all over it. Like you said, Arsenal coming into these, before COVID, they were the draw masters. Yeah, they were unbeaten, but they weren't winning many. They've been dipped by City already without getting a shot on goal the whole game. Who's going to play for Arsenal? Is Aubameyang even going to turn up? Because I don't know how many touches he got last night. It wasn't a lot. You know what? It's just who he sets it, how Arteta sets it up. He's going to have to think a lot now, Arteta. He's got a lot on his plate there, and he's going to have to find a system that works for them to win games. It's all right going unbeaten. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? The invincible days are over. Draws get you nowhere in the Premier League now. You need to win. Especially for them. Yeah. I just feel like Brighton are just going to suck them in. I've just got a feeling that they're just going to stand firm, try and be stubborn, and then catch them. I feel like it's got draw it all over it, or Brighton may even sneak it.
It's going to be a tight one. So, Sam, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a tight one. I had a draw when I seen it. I think this is the poorest Arsenal team we've seen in years.
Definitely.
Going to West Ham at home, that Arsenal is a team that would turn up and obliterate us, pass off the pitch every season. But this season, both times we played them, even though we did lose in the end, they have been. I mean, they've been such winnable games, and they have been poor. They can get opened up so easily. Sometimes they try play silky football, but they haven't got the players to do that anymore. So they can easily get opened up. Brighton have quite a good attack and threat. They got more play. It's a good player. I think under Potter as well, they don't just sit back. They do try win games. Like when Tottenham came to Brighton, they really went for it. They've done them 3-0. So I think they'll be up for it, especially in the scrap. I would say, yeah, Brighton could even nick it, but I'll say a draw, safe 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being a draw myself. I think Arsenal just aren't clinical enough. I don't think a lot of the players are touted as good players, but I think that's a lot of Arsenal fan overhype. I've seen someone trying to say that Leno is the second best keeper in the league, and Aubameyang and Lacazette were two of the top 5 strikers in the league. And why? If all of your players are this good, why are you 9th in the table? It's pretty simple there. Yeah. Now moving on to the next fixture, and this is a big one for Sam. It is West Ham versus Wolves. His mighty Irons are coming back. And they're playing Wolves. It's going to be at the London Stadium as well, but obviously behind closed doors. You excited for this one, Sam? I'm guessing you're buzzing to see the Hammers back.
For some reason, after this break, I've got some weird optimism that we might actually turn up now. Since the first month or two of the season, we've been abysmal. We've had no game plan. Under Pellegrini, it was awful. Moyes has come in, which a lot of people didn't want, obviously. But I think he gets more criticism than he deserves. He's, picked up a pretty unsettled team and everything. There's never been that fluid since we moved to the new ground. I think when we come across Wolves earlier on, when it was supposed to be played, I was actually a bit confident because their fixture schedule was ridiculous. They'd already played something like 30, 40 games this season, haven't they?
Yeah, they're in the Europa League, yeah. They're in the qualifying rounds as well.
Yeah, so I think this might have even done them a favour. It's given them a lot of time to get their fitness back, whereas when we played them before, I think they might have been quite run down. But we've got everyone fit back now, which is good. We've got Wilshere back. Could be a chance for him to step up. This is the one time he's going to be available. So,
sorry, man. Sorry. I'm sorry.
He needs 2 months off. He needs 2 months off, and then he's there. So we've got him for a little bit.
We've probably got him for 2 games before he pulls a hamstring and he's out again. But yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's warm weather now, isn't it? It's probably suited him, doesn't it now?
Yeah, but he is a great player when he is fully fit. So
he hasn't had a good game since like 2014. But fair enough.
But I actually think without the crowd there, it will actually help the players, because I think as a fan base we do get on the players' backs quite a lot. I think players like Anderson and Hallow, because it's not really their fault with the transfer fee, but everyone kind of expects a lot more of them and kind of hammers them a bit, and maybe they're not used to the kind of Premier League culture where the teams are more fussed about them all working hard and everything. It's all good having the flair and all that, but when you see someone trap back, make a solid tackle, everyone's on their feet. You don't really get that much abroad, and I think that's why everyone kind of grills him when they say like Anderson, he's not doing anything. He's not really busting a gut to get back or getting stuck in. So everyone kind of very quick to criticise him. So I think behind closed doors, I think we'll actually benefit from it, home and away. So I'm actually going to go for us to win on our first one back and go 2-0.
Fair play.
It's a big game for us. We need to stay up.
Yeah.
And I think we'll go for it. Yeah. We've done well in our friendlies as well. We've won them both. So yeah, I'm going to go for West Ham win.
Fair play. I mean, you do have the tools by the looks of it. In terms of if you're looking at that squad, you've got a lot of great players like you say, Anderson, Haller, Pablo Fornals. Like in terms of looking through the squad, you've got quite decent players, and it's just surprising that you are that low down in terms of if you think it like who Anderson and Haller were linked to and how underperformed they have. They've underperformed massively this season, but hope you never know, they could thrive. Yeah, as you say, they could possibly thrive under that. Having no pressure. Adam, what do you reckon?
Yeah. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this one. I do feel like it's probably a good time to play Wolves. To be honest, they're stubborn, absolutely stubborn. We know, mate. We know how difficult this team is to play against. I'm sick of the sight of them. To be honest, we play them that much. And it's probably a good time to get them.
But it's just in the normal standard.
Yes, it's absolutely disgusting. It's that you could be in the same end. You could be in the same end as your mate, but a mile away. It's the whole side. It's the whole side of the stadium, isn't it? But for me, I see it being close. West Ham do have some tools. I do agree with you both there. They've got some players. And Wolves are always slow starters. They really are. And you've got to take this as a fresh start again, because 100 days is it's longest anyone's had off in the football career. And it is probably a good time to play Wolves because, like you said, this season, I think they went the first 5 or 6 games of the season without even winning a game. It took them ages.
Drew 2 and lost 4, I think, at the start of the season.
Yeah, they were horrendous at the start of the season. Yeah. Obviously, Europa League played a part and all that, but you know what? Their eyes may still be on the Europa League when it kickstarts, when the season finishes. You know what I mean? Where are their heads at? And yeah, I agree in terms of freshness. They're probably doing good because they have got a small squad. How they manage their team and their physios at that club are phenomenal because they seem to play the same 11 every single game. And like you guys said, they've played a lot of games. They don't get injuries. I don't know what it is with them. It's crazy. But when they get rolling, Wolves, they are a good team. They really are. This game probably matches up quite close, like I said at the start, because like you said, Anderson there, Haller, you've got some good players in that West Ham team. You know what I mean? And yeah, it may be no fans in that stadium. Again, it's who it's going to affect more, to be honest, isn't it? We just don't know until the first games have sort of kicked off who is going to sort of carry on where they left off, or is it really going to affect them? But I think the West Ham fans do get on their players' backs. I mean, I've been there to West Ham a few times and I've felt it. I've felt the anger in the crowd. And with no one there, I think West Ham will be relaxed. I think they will. I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think it'll be 1-1. I think it's just going to be a tight game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being a tight game. I'm also going to go for a draw as well. I mean, since obviously Upton Park has changed, I've spoke to you about it before, Sam. Like the London Stadium is very strange in the terms of the away end. How one tier is like nearly 200 meters away from the bottom tier. it seems the disparity, but so obviously I think the fact you have seen, like, you know, when the pitch invasions happen and stuff like that, West Ham fans are a very passionate bunch, as I found out that day in Liverpool. They're a very passionate bunch of people. So, you know, not having them on the back will definitely help the likes of Haller and Anderson. So I think Wolves will still have a bit of class though. So I think it'll be 1-1. I'd say probably the least exciting fixture out of the whole fixture list is Bournemouth Palace, which is a 7:45 on Saturday. I don't think anyone's excited about that one, lads. Roy Hodgson against Eddie Howe. It's not really a duel for the history books.
Bournemouth need a win. They're in trouble.
Dying for a win massively. In trouble. First time it looks like they've been in trouble since they've been in the Premier League. Palace looking comfortable, really and truly. They're obviously not going to be relegated, not going to get in Europa League, so that could play a part. You know, the players could already be on the beach in their mind. Ads, how do you see this one going out? Adam?
Yeah, it's like you said then, mate. I heard Andros Townsend talking on the radio the other day, and like what their goal is. They know they're not going to go down. They know that there isn't really that much to play for apart from a couple of places, because they're mid-table now. I don't see them breaking in above anyone above them into the top 8. And it's like you said, the season's over pretty much for Palace now, whereas Bournemouth are fighting for their lives. This could be the one season that they go down, and have looked like they could go down. They always have them runs where they lose about 6 or 7 games, but then they'll win 4. And they've done it every season they've been in the Premier League. This is the first season that I've seen them not. I mean, they have, it's like you said, Brooks is back. The injuries, King's back. There's a few injuries that this break's helped out for a lot of clubs, because they've missed Brooks this season, Bournemouth, badly. He was their best player last season. And you know what? Him coming back just could give them that little boost. And it's where Palace's heads are at. That's the big question in this one. Are they really bothered? That's it. I mean, it could be one of them in a complete relaxed form. Some teams perform better, so Palace could easily just turn it on. I'm gonna go for a Palace win still low. I do fear for Bournemouth this season after everything is said there. I'm going Palace win. But yeah, I just don't like Bournemouth's outfit now. I just feel like this is the time they are gonna go. And you know what? They're one of them friendly clubs, aren't they? They just don't seem to have a bite about them, a fight. You know what I mean? It's a nice place to go. Do they really belong in the Premier League? The stadium doesn't. I mean,
definitely doesn't.
The team, they've played some all right football under Eddie Howe, and you've got to give him credit for keeping him there. But I feel like, I just feel like Palace are going to take this one. They're going to get it for a 1-0. It's going to be a pretty crap game, like you said, mate. But I fancy Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. I've just got the table up here, and I'm looking at it, and Palace are actually only 4 points behind Spurs. So if we were to beat Spurs and Palace was to win, Palace would only be a point behind Spurs in that 8th place. So, you know, there is an outside chance of Europa League, for the very outside, of course, if they finished in 7th and the cup was won by other teams. And then Bournemouth, of course, are so tight down there. Watford, Bournemouth and West Ham are all on level points. And then Brighton only 2 points ahead. So it's all a very tight affair down there. Obviously, Sam, you're massively involved in it with West Ham being level on points with Bournemouth. How do you think this one's going to turn out?
Yeah, as you were saying, it depends where Palace are at. Even though they are, you said they're 4 points behind Tottenham, they could be challenging. I was just looking at their fixtures. I don't think even the most optimistic Palace fan won't be back at them. They've got Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea, United, Wolves, Tottenham all still to play. So I think in terms of trying to go high, I think that's out the window.
I didn't know their fixture list, to be honest. So I think if I'd known that before I said that, wouldn't have come out with that statement.
That's worse. That's about as bad as Brighton's running, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're 5 of the top 6 they've got, more or less. And then, but as Adam said, Bournemouth are just a poor side. They're not a good team, really, but they've got a lot to fight for. I think going forward, they haven't got enough without. I mean, they've got Wilson, but in terms of squad depth, they haven't really got enough for a plan B. To really go at a side. I think they've been in the Prem. They might have almost overstayed their times. They're kind of starting to tailor off, as you said, first time under Eddie Howe. And you question their fight. come out this week as well. I think Ryan Fraser, he might not extend his contract for the rest of the season, so he might be gone by the end of the month.
He's already come out one time before and said he's not playing to his full capabilities because he's thinking of a move. He had to apologise for that. So he's heading that. But I'd be surprised if you've seen him, like you said. I'd be surprised if you see Fraser.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to jump ship by the looks of it. At the end of the
Definitely
month,
going to sign for West Ham as well. That's just got West Ham written all over it. West Ham free transfer, Ryan Fraser.
I'm going to go for a Palace win. Yeah, I don't know if that's for the heart, but I don't think Bournemouth have really.
For the wanting.
I can see this. I can see it going one or two ways. I can see it being a boring 0-0 like the Villa Sheffield United was, or it could be an absolute. I think Palace could absolutely trounce them. They're the two possible ways I see it going. Now we're going ahead to Sunday, and it's the 2 o'clock kickoff. We've got Newcastle Sheffield United, which is quite an exciting game, to be honest. I wouldn't say exciting, a good game, sort of two quite tough teams. Sheffield United have been doing well this season. They're obviously hot on our tails at the moment, chasing for that 5th spot, which may be available for the Champions League if City or ban is still upheld. Hopefully it is. It's a bit of a tough game. Sam, how do you see it going out?
Well, Newcastle could still get sucked into that relegation battle, so I think they've really got to come out fighting. Sheffield United, I don't know if they're going to be feeling a bit, hard done by after that decision yesterday.
Yeah.
But I mean, they are a really good side, and they're really good on the road. I'd probably say Sheffield United should be beating them, but Newcastle, when they on their day, they can be such a hard team to defend against. Got a lot of pace going forward. St. Maximan and Almiron, but then with those two, it's kind of a question about that final ball or that finish. They're not clinical enough, and there's a lot of behind the scenes of the takeover, and there's not certainty of even Steve Bruce staying. Depending on the takeover, it might be a bit of a weird one. So it's whether Steve Bruce is kind of fighting for his job, and it's like he wants to prove, or if it's whether he's kind of feeling he's going to get sacked, even though he's not really done a bad job there.
Yeah, they're 13th for the table at a minute, so
yeah, and they've had a shaky few years. So I'm gonna go for Sheffield United, or I don't know, it's tight. It could be. I'm gonna change that. I'll go for a draw. I'm gonna go for a 2-2. I think Sheffield. I think they're both going to be up for it. Newcastle more on the break. They've got that pace, but Sheffield United, they don't sit back away from home. They do go for it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, Sheffield United are a great side. Like, I remember when we played them away, we drew 3-3. They've got good players up at at the back. That overlapping centre half thing they do. It seems to work really well for them. John Egan, great player that I really like. McGoldrick. They brought in the Dutch fella. His name escapes me at the minute. They've got Mousset. They've got a team of great players. Newcastle as well. It just depends on which one of them, which Newcastle turns up on the day, really. Adam, what do you reckon? Ads?
Like I said, talking about Brucey there, he's actually, the Geordies absolutely worship Benitez, and Bruce is doing a better job at this stage than Benitez did. It's crazy. He's done a great job with what he's had, resources that he's had amidst all the takeover rumours, player issues that he's had, And then to turn the fans around at the start of the season, where is Steve Bruce's head at? Does he really think that he has got a job going into the summer? How is he planning his team for the next 6 or 7 weeks? I just feel like this is the game when probably Sheffield United go out and get the points, to be honest. I do feel like they have got a bit more. Yet Newcastle have got dangerous. St. Maximum, he is their one key player. Yeah, he's like a pit bull, a little Jack Russell. He just runs around in circles. Finally started adding the odd goal here and there, thank God. But for me, I just feel like you said, then Sheffield United's line up there, this absolute must, solid at the back. They've got a game plan and got that threat going forward as well. And sometimes playing away from home, are Newcastle going to go into this thinking we are 1 win away, which they are from, I think it will put them on 38, if I'm right. They're on 35.
Yeah, they're on 35
now.
in a minute.
They're going to get you safe this season. Yeah, so they're 1 win away. It depends how they approach it. They could play like they have done in some of the big games, Newcastle. They've done that really well. I mean, they held us. They beat us there at St. James's Park. They held City at St. James's Park. You know what? They have got a stubborn and they can rise to the big game. So, you know what? I won't be surprised if I feel like Sheffield United are going to snatch this one. I think they'll want it more than what Newcastle will.
Yeah, I can see that as well. I think as well, Sheffield have also played a game, so they've got more of a feel of their squad. That may be an advantage to them. Where it could go one or two ways. It could give them more of a feel. It could have wrecked some of their fitness. Some of them might have pulled up muscle cheeks. We will have to wait and see. Next game then we've got is 4:15 and it's Villa Chelsea, and it's a massive clash both at the bottom and the top of the table. Villa 19th at the minute with 26 points. Chelsea currently sitting in 4th, 4 points ahead of us. And then, both involved in massive races, both for the top 4 and the bottom 3. Sam, how do you see this one panning out with Villa Chelsea? It's at Villa Park as well.
Yeah. I think Chelsea are going to run away with it.
Yeah.
They're on a high with the signings they've made over the quarantine. They've got Ziyech and Werner's got announced today.
Yeah.
I think, they're going to be going into it up for it. They've got a lot to play for. They play good football. Villa they're just so questionable. They sometimes, other than Jack Grealish, it's like they haven't really got that kind of attacking route. They've got some good players like Hurry Han, Tyrone Mings good at the back, but I just think Chelsea, just to put it simply, Chelsea are going to just be stronger than Villa. I think they're going to run away with it.
Yeah, you got John McGinn coming back for Villa as well. You got who was a crucial player for them. He could make a massive difference.
Yeah, he could. That's how the lockdowns helped them.
Yeah,
McGinn's back for the scrap, but I don't know. I still think just Chelsea are just gonna be the better side, to be honest.
First. Score prediction or just?
All right, I'm gonna go 3-0 Chelsea.
3-0 Chelsea. Well, I'm hoping that doesn't happen because I'm hoping we can catch them in the 4th spot. Ads, I'm assuming you're going to be like me and you're probably going to be a bit biased on this one.
There's wanting and then there's screwing your realistic head on, isn't there, to be honest?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully by the time Chelsea come to play, they'll be in 5th because we'd have beat Spurs and gone ahead of them because we've got a better goal difference. So
we're 4 points behind us, so we wouldn't.
No, we're 3, mate. Yeah,
I thought it was
3,
4.
mate. No, 3 points.
Anyway.
Yeah. So we literally could be in 4th by the time they play Villa. So if that's the case, then I'm hoping they're going to go into the game thinking that they need to win. But like Sam says, Villa, they've got the odd spark in McGinn, Grealish, but I just don't see him having enough to handle Chelsea. I just feel like Chelsea's guile going forward. It's got too much creativity, pace. I just think that Chelsea have just got way too going forward for Villa's defence. I really do. And I just think it could be 2 or 3-0 to Chelsea.
We lost. I think we might have lost Adam there. Hello. Yeah, he's gone at the minute. But talking about the Villa Chelsea game, I personally think it's going to be a bit of a tight affair. I think you're going to see Villa score. Villa possibly score at some point and maybe maybe make it a tight affair. But I think Chelsea will win it 2-1, sort of a narrow victory. I can see it being one of those games. Moving on then to probably one of the biggest fixtures of the weekend and of the post-lockdown Premier League is Everton-Liverpool. And you can see Liverpool making a massive step towards that Premier League title that they are inevitably going to lift. It's quite depressing to think of it, but at least they're doing it in lockdown. Adam, how do you see this one going?
I fancy a draw in this game, mate. I do. I don't know what it is. I just feel like Everton are going to be pumped. And the fact that they can't win it now, can they, at Goodison, because City won. I think
Yeah,
that's
they
right in
can't win
saying
it,
that.
yeah.
They can't win it, can they? So I just feel like I don't see Liverpool losing it, but I feel it's going to take about 3 games to get it over the line because they weren't playing great before the break. And I just feel like Everton have just got come back. Probably the perfect game for Everton to come back to. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to be up for it. It's going to be run on pure adrenaline. Fitness levels are going to be, like everyone else, not there. So there's going to be adrenaline pumping. It's going to be interesting because we're going to be able to hear the tackles actually watching it, aren't we? We're going to be able to hear the shin pads crunching together with no fans there. So yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see who's reffing the game as well. I can't remember who it was, if it's been announced yet. But I just feel like this one is going to be one of them crunch games. You know, it's going to have bite in it. It really is. There's no way that Everton are letting Liverpool come in and win on their turf, especially knowing that it could have won them the league. I know it can't now, but still, to stop them getting that bit closer to winning the league, I think it's got to draw it all over this. I think Everton will be stubborn. Ancelotti will know how to play against Klopp. He's got enough up there to manage that team. And you know what? Liverpool haven't been fantastic at the back. I mean, Calvert-Lewin there could cause problems going forward if he kicks onto the right man, stays away from Van Dijk. Then, you know what? There's a chance in this for Everton. There really is.
Yeah.
Liverpool can obviously turn up and blow them away. But the longer this game goes on without a goal, the more I'll fancy Everton to at least get a draw. Liverpool score in the first 20 minutes, and I think it might be night-night. But I don't see it going like that. I see it being a battle. I see plenty of tackles going in. And I just think it's going to be one of them typical Merseyside derbies. But like they're just going playing on Stanley Park, just having a kick around. That's what it's going to seem like, you know what I mean? Everyone have a free-for-all. It could be any way, mate. I just feel it's got to draw it all over it. And that is my United cap firmly on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you there, but and in the sense of if Liverpool score within the opening 20 minutes, you're definitely going to see them run away with it, and it could end up 4 or 5 because I think Everton are that sort of a team. If their heads drop, they can just get absolutely pummeled, and you've seen it throughout the years. But like if they have a good day, they can turn teams over like they did to us last season. Finished 4-0, and they absolutely. Theo Walcott scored and everything. I didn't know what was going on that day. It's going to be a tight game. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, from a less biased perspective, I do think Liverpool are going to be that. They are the better side. I think Calvert-Lewin could cause a threat. I think the lockdown again kind of came at the wrong time for him. Since Ancelotti's come in, he's picked up quite a lot. But I think no fans being there kind of plays in Liverpool's hands. They would have tried to make it as difficult as they could for Liverpool if they were there. So I think they are just that good. They are running away with it. There's not that much pressure on them because they've got so many games to do it. I just think they're not going to feel that. Yeah, they're not going to feel under that pressure. They haven't got the fans in on them. As I said, I think it will still be a heated derby. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to feel. I don't think they're going to feel that threatened, I just can't see anything other than Liverpool win, especially with how we've all been laughing at them for the last 2 months, saying they're not going to win it or they've got an asterisk next to their name. I think they're just going to be up for winning it. Jordan Henderson, especially, he's been getting ripped for it and everything. He'll get them going. So for me, I'm going to. As I said, I think it'll be tight because it will still be a derby, but I think Liverpool will edge it 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. I think it will be a tight game. But, personally, I've thought of it now. I wouldn't mind them winning because if they win and then City then lose on Monday, I think they'd win the league without having played, so they wouldn't celebrate as much and they wouldn't enjoy it as much. I'm being bitter as possible.
Yeah.
Just do not want to see him win the league. And the finish of the first round of fixtures is Monday Night Football, 8:00, City Burnley. I don't think any of us are particularly excited about it. City playing against, mid to lower end table sides. I can't see anything else but a City win here. Sam, what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Burnley, you know, they're obviously such a well-structured team under Dyche, defensively and everything, but it's just one of those games. No one likes going to City away. I think it's just gonna be too much for them. They proved last night they haven't really stopped. They've done the job, 3-0. You know, they never really looked like conceding yesterday. And I think, even though Arsenal aren't a great side, I think they're still better than Burnley. I know they're in about the same position somehow, but I can't see anything other than a Man City win. It'll be comfortable. I can't see Burnley really threatening them. Pep won't, even though Pep Guardiola knows that, you know, the title is out the window. He's not want to, you know, take his foot off the pedal. I don't think he'll be relaxing or anything. He'll still be trying to play. So I'm going to go 4-0 Man City. I think there's no reason why it won't be a typical big City win.
Yeah, fair point. I think I kind of completely agree with you there, to be honest, Sam. Adam, are you at the same train of thought, or do you think Burnley could maybe throw a spanner in the works?
No, I'm with you guys on this one. I just don't see Burnley causing City any problems at all. They're just on a different level, and with City already playing a game, being a bit sharper, you could say as well, everything's against Burnley in this one. And like you said, Burnley firmly in mid-table now, 10th exactly. So that says it all. Although Burnley were one of the form teams going into the break, I just feel like their job is done. A bit like we talked about Palace earlier on. Where are they? How many heads are in? Where their next contract is, or where they're playing, who they're playing for next season, what they're doing in the summer now. Because I feel like they've just done their job already. They're probably one of the teams who weren't really bothered if it started again or if it just got null and voided. City for me, 3 or 4-0, like you guys said. Then Burnley just won't stand a chance in this game for me.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think you've seen the likes of the sort of the mid-table linger, like the Burnley's, Bournemouth when Stoke were up. You've seen City bring them to the Etihad and just absolutely tear them apart, savage them 5-6-0, and I think we could see that, and I think it could be the first sort of brutal loss of the lockdown league. We're gonna have a look. I'm gonna have a quick look at a select few of the next round of fixtures, because it is a festival of football, and the fixtures are just coming thick and fast. We've got a game Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, non-stop football, all the football you could ever want. The first one I'm going to look at in the next round is Tottenham West Ham, which is 8:15. It's a massive game, massive London derby. Sam, obviously West Ham, you must be well excited for that one.
Yeah, glad not to be there. That was one that was it was soon enough that I've got the ticket up there, but obviously can't be going. We turned up last season. We snatched it really away at Tottenham, the first away team to win there. That was a good day. But I think that's a game that we always seem to turn up for Tottenham, but home or away. But that's all. I think that's massive with the fan backing.
Yeah.
We really get behind the team for those ones, and everyone's up for it. The atmosphere is always good. So I think in that sense, we might not really be as up for it as we usually are. But I mean, we've got so much to play for anyway. Tottenham aren't a great side, but it's hard to call, because we still don't know how all these teams are going to play in this circumstance, So, but if I haven't got my West Ham glass on, then I think Tottenham will probably see us out. We aren't a strong side. I think even in the summer we need a lot of transfer movement to really get going. I think defensively, the fullback areas were seriously lacking. And, I just think we can't really deal with pace at all. You got Son up top, you say, like, he's rapid, isn't he? So I feel like I've talked myself out of being excited for it. But we'll see. It just depends if we turn up. I'm going to be honest, I reckon 2-0 Spurs. I don't think we'll get anything. But fingers crossed I'm wrong.
Oh, fair play. I think it'll be okay. That'll be a tight affair. As you do say, the West Ham support does mainly get you through that game. Like the rivalry between Tottenham and West Ham, there's real hatred there. So, I think that'll be a massive thing, West Ham not having the fan base with them. Adam, how do you think it will go?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, listening? It's like Tottenham are like the banter boys of London, aren't they? To be honest, everyone just takes the mick out of them. Yeah. It's like you said, with the crowds there, I feel like this is probably, like you said, a bigger game. It just gets lost in the fixture list for me now. This game without any fans there, it loses its sort of appetite in that sort of way, because you know how bitter they are between each other. The fans, we all know it. Even us United fans up here know what it's like when Tottenham play West Ham. Mourinho, I think all West Ham fans hate Mourinho as well, and it's, you know what I mean. I see it actually being like a draw, to be honest, because I think we're gonna do Spurs in, and then they're going to be out of the Champions League race altogether. And then I just feel like West Ham will get something out of the game. I really do. I know Dele Alli will be back for that game. I don't know. I think Lo Celso and Dele Alli are both out of our game against them. But depends who's back and which way Mourinho approaches it for me. He could easily just stifle the game, or he could take it to West Ham. And I think that's where West Ham would probably struggle. If you go at them, then I think you may struggle. But if you sort of stand off, then you're giving West Ham a chance. Depends how Mourinho plays it for me. But I see a draw still. I do see a draw in that one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I can see it. I can see a draw. I can see Spurs getting off to a bit of a slow start. And yeah, West Ham, look, the players even themselves hopefully will be able to, just know what it means to the fans and get behind it and try and get a result for the fans. Moving on to the next game, we're going to take a look at is United versus Sheffield United. Adam was saying to me before how the police were somehow worried. There was talk of moving it to a neutral venue. There was worried that fans were going to congregate outside the ground. I mean, personally, Sheffield United, we've played them once maybe in the last 10 years in the Cup, was it? I think I don't see where there was any rivalry or worry there. Obviously, going to be a tough game for us. How do you think it's going to go, Ed?
Yeah, if you were trying to pass Sheffield United and United off as a big rivalry, then you might as well put United at neutral venue for every single game, because everyone hates United. Yeah. It's, you know what I mean? There's no rivalry between us at all. The only thing we're fighting for is the same position in the league. And for me, I just think United will. The two games for us, it's like I said, if we beat Spurs and Sheffield United, we pretty much take Sheffield United, Spurs and Arsenal way out of the question for top four. And I think that's what United's main target will be. It will be just getting these next two games done and dusted and getting wins under the belt. I feel like it will be a bit tighter, though, this game. Sheffield United are no mugs at the back. I just feel like our team will be completely different to when we played them last. I mean, last time we played them, we had Phil Jones, mate. Phil Jones was playing last time we played Sheffield United. That's not going to happen.
He's injured. He's injured,
mate. I know.
Thankfully, we don't want anyone being injured, but we just don't want him to play.
Surprise! Phil Jones injured. He's had 100 days off and he's injured. Well, shocker. You know what I mean? No surprise there. He can just go, can't he? I feel United getting this one 1-0 for me. I think it's going to be tight, this game. I do feel like there's a lot riding on this game. It's going to be Sheffield United's last chance, because if they don't beat United, I feel like they're out of it. But I feel like United will have just a little bit too much for them. And the fact that Sheffield United will come at United because they need to, instead of playing their usual defensive style football, I feel like that's going to play into United's hands a little bit more. And like I said before, they've got a small squad, Sheffield United, and I think this is where we will have the advantage over them, being able to make 5 substitutions for the quality of play that we've got sat on the bench compared to what they have. Later on in this game, I think that's where United will win it. 1-0 United, yeah.
1-0 United. I think as well it's going to be it's going to be a massively close affair. Just because of the way they both teams set up against each other. How do you think it's going to go, Sam?
Yeah, no, as you said, that you put it perfectly. Sheffield aren't going to sit back; they're going to go for it. And I think United, a lot of the time when they do struggle, it is when teams, sit back, because you do find it hard to open them up. But you've got really good squad depth. You're saying Pogba back, Rashford's going to be there, so you're not going to be really dependent on Igalo as dependent on Igalo. You've got. I think you have to get the strength to beat them, because they are going to go for it. It kind of depends who gets the early goal. I mean, if Sheffield United were going to go for you and they do score first, they get an early lead, then it might be quite hard, because they might sit back a little bit more, and it makes it difficult for you. Yeah. I think likelihood is you'll win it 2-0. But yeah, I mean, if Sheffield United were to go score at the start, I think it could be a right struggle for United, because as I said, it's once you're trying to break a team down that's, really defensive. I think that's where United really struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's we've always seen it. It's been in the way that we've done well against every big team that we've played. I think our results against the top six are phenomenal. We've always, I think we've only lost one, and that was away to Liverpool. And we've been phenomenal. We beating Tottenham, beating Chelsea, beat Chelsea 3 times at the Bridge. I think we thrive off a team sort of attacking us and the counter attack. The Ollie freestyle, as Saeed refers to it all the time. But I think we will get the win. I think it'll be a tight one though. I think it'll be 2-1. And the last game that we're going to look at before we do a bit of fun stuff is the Thursday is Chelsea City. It's probably the last major fixture during the week. Massive game, just because of the way Chelsea are, and they're 2 massive clubs, obviously. Sam, how do you think this one's going to go?
Well, I mean, it is hard to call. City are just such a strong team, and I don't think when they are on their day they can beat anyone. I think you got to remember even though it's easy to say, City 22 points behind Liverpool. It's easy to make yourself think that they're not as good as they are, but they really think that the difference is those two kind of separate from the rest of the table. They're just both different class. I think City on their day should be comfortable winners in any game of football. If personally, it's just a really weird thing to say. If West Ham to play Liverpool or City tomorrow, I'd rather play Liverpool. I'd think we'd have a better chance of beating Liverpool. As you see when you come Anfield, we give them a right game. Whereas if we were going to play City, we can just open you up. City, Chelsea, last season was 6-0, wasn't it? It was a big one.
Yeah. I think it was a big one. I can't really remember, to be honest.
It was. Yeah, City absolutely smashed them to pieces.
Was that at the Etihad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And because they won 1-0 away. I think De Bruyne got a penalty. That was it, or something like that.
He did.
I think City in the day can, as good as Chelsea are, we were saying when we were talking about Chelsea Villa, they can just, City are just a different class. I honestly think they can open anyone up. So a lot for a City win. I don't think it will be. It won't be a smashing game like in terms of a 3 or 4. It won't be a rout. I'll go 2-1. 2-1 City.
2-1 City. 2-1 City. Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. They're both good sides, and Chelsea obviously the whole team in the camp is going to be on a high, bringing in the likes of Ziyech and Werner and possibly Kai Havertz as well, and Ben Chilwell. They could have a very busy summer. What are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, I think this is where United need to take advantage, because I see City beating Chelsea. Not clearly, because Chelsea have got some good players, but I look at City's bench last night with the likes of Bernardo Silva, Sane back even, Aguero on the bench. Foden coming on as well. I just feel like City with a fully fit squad is just too much for anyone. And they miss De Bruyne when he's not playing. I think that's the major thing for them, City. I just feel like it will be close, because Chelsea will have all their players fit as well, and they have got good players. They really have. But I just feel like City are that next level above the likes of us, even though we seem to beat them all the time at the moment. It's just one of them. We're a voodoo on them, but we know how to play against them. I just don't think Chelsea have got it. They never seem to really have it against City. I mean, there's been the odd occasion when they've really surprised them, but for me, I just feel like Sam said there, maybe a 1-0, 2-1 to City, but I think this might be where United actually get into the top 4 and then stay there, because if we win our 2 games, it comes to this one for Chelsea and they lose it, and then we look at the next lot of fixtures for us. No disrespect to Sam's boys there. We've got them coming up, Bournemouth, Palace. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of crap teams. Southampton, every one of our teams that we then play after the first 2 games is below bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just see that being the turning point for us. Chelsea will put up a good fight. I know they will. They're a decent team when they kick into gear, but I feel like City are already finding 3rd and 4th gear already. It's like they've not been away. I was always questioning how City would come back. Where would their edge be when they came back? I think it proved last night that Pep's just going to go out and go, it's a mini tournament. I want to win 9 games in a row. it just had that feel about. They just had that feel about them again last night. And you know what? The fact that Arsenal couldn't even get a shot on target shows how dominant that they are. And Chelsea will struggle. Chelsea are better with the ball. They're not going to get it against City.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've got the equipment to play. Yeah, they can play counter-attacking football, but they haven't got. It's hard to describe. They haven't got that plan B that I've seen so far this season. They've been great when they've been in front, but when they've been behind, I think they've struggled, Chelsea. And I don't see them getting the first goal against City. I just think City are too strong. They're not going to get many chances, Chelsea. So, yeah, it's still going to be tight. I'm not dismaying Chelsea at all. The best they could get is probably a draw, but I see City scraping it. I really do. Yeah,
I mean, I can see, as we highlighted there, Chelsea don't seem to really turn up against City. City are a tough outfit for them. I think it's at Stamford Bridge, but obviously it doesn't really matter because they're behind closed doors. And as you were saying, there is a massive opportunity for us to capitalise on if Chelsea.
City's record at Stamford Bridge is brilliant.
Yeah,
they play better there than they do at the Etihad. I think last time Chelsea beat them was at the Etihad, wasn't it? With Costa.
Yeah, Costa. They won the league on the Mourinho.
Yeah, and no, City to win.
Yeah, City. I'm going to go with that as well. I think City are going to win. Now the next bit I'm moving on to. We've gone through a lot of the fixtures. You know, whoever's still with us, cheers. Just a little moment of memory. Just we're all regular match. Quite regular match going fans, and we've all been to some great away days. I wanted to get your favourite away day memory, whether it be just because of the result. Sam's met his missus through football, so it might have been that. Whatever it might be, the result, the day out, whatever it was. Sam, I'm going to go to you first. What is your favourite, memory of an away day?
Oh, it's tough, isn't it? There's somewhere we've lost, and I've had a great time just because of the away day itself, or talking about the football. I'm gonna say, especially as we talked about it, Tottenham away. When we're at the old White Hart Lane, there was one season we beat them 3 times the same season, and there were two of them away from home within about 2 months difference, and we hadn't beaten them away for 14 years at this stage. And I remember, so it's hard to choose between the two. So one was the League Cup, 1-0 down last 10 minutes, and there was 5,500 West Ham fans there, and somehow 10 minutes to go, and we were awful. It was proper Sam Allardyce performance, everyone in their own half, and we've ended up turning it around the last 10 minutes with a winner by a striker who hadn't scored in over a year, and it just everything kind of fit into place, and that was a good one. That was good bragging rights, but I'd say I prefer the first one. So again, it was a proper Sam Allardyce formation. We turned up without a striker on the pitch. We played 4-6 formation. At this stage,
4-6-0, like when Berbatov used to play for us.
And Tottenham hadn't conceded a goal that season. It was only 3 or 4 games in, but they hadn't conceded a goal that season. It was when they had AVB, and everyone was. I think it was just after they sold Bale, so they had a bit of optimism. They just spent £100 million, and when they got like Ericsson and Kirikes and all those players. So they were all optimistic, and actually I went up with a couple of Tottenham fans. So I had a match that morning on the Sunday, and it was just it was a really good away day, good atmosphere and everything. And we turned up and beat them 3-0, 0-0 at half time, done them 3-0 without a striker on the pitch, and that was probably my favourite.
Was that the one with Ravel Morrison?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I remember that one actually. That was mental.
Yeah. It was just a crazy game.
Yeah, no, I remember that game. That was fucking insane. Ravel Morrison kind of looked like he was going to do something with his career at that point, and then he just, he kind of just went off the rails. That's a mental one. I can't even imagine the scenes in their way end at that. Ads, I'm going to come to you. You've been going to United. You've been going to football a lot longer than the two of us, so you must have a lot of good away day memories.
Oh mate, I can remember the San Siro away sticks in my head, but I keep it local. Well, not completely local. I'm going to go with Sam's mob. Actually, back at the old Upton Park. If you can remember this back, you guys may not remember it, but when West Ham had Michael Carrick and Joe Cole in midfield. They had Canute up front. They had a decent team. If you can think of them players, and they were playing in West Ham's team at the same time. Upton Park, United beat them 5-3. Remember the chip from Beckham over David James? Just coming in from the right wing. He did delicate chip right over James. Even Nicky Butt scored in this game. It had everything. It was end-to-end from the first minute. Penalties, screamers, it had everything. I set off at about 5:30 on the Red Issue bus. Mate, I've never been so ill in my life at this. I was smashed out my face before I got to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know how I remember the game. The emotions of that game mentally drained me because you can imagine they scored, we scored, they scored 8 goals. We're tanked up. We got kept in behind for an hour, then kept outside for an hour by riot police. There were guys getting on our coach, head split open and everything. It was a mess, mate. I can even remember the toilet overflowing and the bus coming back. It was just like something from... Have you seen the film ID? The old hooligan film ID, Shadwell Army? No. If you haven't, just watch it. Just find it up on something. Just watch the film ID. It's like a proper old school football away day film. It was just like that. Dead stingy old coach. I can't remember what time I got back, so I set off at about 5:30 from Manchester. It was a Saturday afternoon at 3:00 as well. How many times can we say that now these days? You know what I mean? Proper weekend. You know what I mean? You work all week and then you've got a Saturday match to go to. It was perfect. Came back. I went out somehow afterwards when I got back as well. And then I just remember getting battered by the missus the next day, and it was just perfect weekend. It was just absolutely mental. But the atmosphere there, because West Ham hate us. And like you said, back at Upton Park when you were really close together, you penned in there, and it was just the atmosphere from the first whistle, and the game lived up to all its expectations. The players on there, like I said, Carrick and Joe Cole in midfield for West Ham. You know what I mean? It's quality midfield. Canute up front.
That squad, which is unbelievable as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So you don't realise how many good players that teams had back in the day. You know what? And Carrick showed his quality on that day. Joe Cole was good as well. But Nicky Butt had an absolute stormer of a game. I'd never seen him play so well. And he just matched up. Beckham was just on another level. And we had Solskjaer as well. And Solskjaer scored that game as well. It was crazy. That's how long ago it was, boys. It was a perfect, proper lads Saturday 3:00 kickoff weekend. You had the Sunday to recover. You enjoyed your whole day Saturday. It was original, a football factory style weekend. It was perfect. That sticks in the memory a lot. I mean, I've got Champions League finals and all sorts of stuff but that one, just for old school football reasons, is definitely the best one.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a fucking perfect away day for me. And I think due to the lockdown and how we've been away from actually going to matches, that just kind of just set us all a bit excited about when it actually does come back. I mean, for me, I've got a lot of away day memories. I used to love Upton Park as an away day because we normally did quite all right, and it was just quite a nice ground, and it was just like good pubs around the area that if you knew where to go to and stuff. And I remember there was I think it was in 2011 maybe, and I think we were down 2-0 and we came back and won 4-2.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we went down that season.
Oh, yeah, Rooney hat-trick.
Yeah, Rooney got a hat-trick. I think he got suspended.
Ferguson subbed off Evra and put Giggs at left-back and changed the game.
It was an absolutely mental game. I remember because it was me and my dad in the away end. It was absolutely it went spare.
Rooney got banned for 2 games for swearing in the camera.
He told him to F off or something. I can't remember, but it was that was a good one. And I've had there's been a lot of good ones at West Ham. You had Rashford in the cup. I remember we played there once and Giggsy scored a wonder, like sort of a solo goal, and we won 1-0. But my 2 favourites would have to be when we within the same season, 2011, when we got to the final of Wembley. It was when we beat Chelsea 1-0 at the Bridge. I was at that, and I managed to get on ITV with me turning around with Chicharito on the back of my shirt in the away end. and going absolutely mental the whole time because as I've shown in fan cams before, I'm not a big fan of Chelsea, and when we beat them, I savour every moment of it. And then the other one was Schalke because it was the first like European away trip I had ever done. It was the semi-final, and we won 2-0. And Dad managed to have a mate who worked for security and who got us into the team hotel afterwards. And I met O'Shea and Rooney, and it was like, you know, I was 11 or 12 years old, and it was probably one of the happiest days and nights of my life, and I will never forget it. And it just shows what amazing things football can do for anyone's mind. I think we're just going to wrap it up there now, lads. If you want to shout out your socials, give everyone a follow. Sam, do you want to shout out your socials?
Just _Sam Hills on Twitter and Instagram, I think. Same one. Get
involved in all of his West Ham action. And ads, do you want to shout your socials out there?
Yeah, most people know mine. Just hit me up on YouTube, Mad Red United. All my other socials are at the top of that page as well.
All right, lads, please subscribe to this, like this, share it, do what you can with it, make it grow. We're going to try and make it a regular thing. Hopefully when lockdown's finished, we'll be able to do it in a pub and actually have pints and not, lukewarm bottles of beer. So cheers for everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe and like, and chat to you in a while.